Hey, welcome back. It's episode 46 of the David and Hillary Show. Thank you for joining us. We're glad that you're here. And look, it's still Advent, week 2.
This candle's been burning a long time.
It just hasn't gone down very
Yep,
much. It's
amazing.
magic. So we're excited to talk about week 2 of Advent.
We also have some more gift-giving tips from some of our best gift-giving friends and relatives.
That's right.
We also have show and tell from a German Christmas market. That was amazing.
That was a really fun trip.
Yeah, super.
And we have a couple specific gift ideas that you don't want to miss. So stick with us until the end. It's going to be a great episode.
All right, let's do this.
Well, Hillary, you mentioned the German Christmas market.
Yes.
And I think we should start there with show and tell. Those of you that have watched a lot of our episodes probably remember that Hillary's sister, Meredith Kendall, and her husband, our brother-in-law, Rob Kendall, have both been interviewed on the podcast before, and we really enjoyed having them. Since that time, they have taken a church in Cullman, Alabama. Rob is the lead pastor there. It's a little town, Cullman. If you haven't heard of it and aren't sure what I said, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
What is also cool there is they have a German Christmas market. And so we went down this last Sunday, got to go to their church service, hang out, have a nice lunch. They had some other friends in from out of town, and we all had a really good time hanging out. And then we went to the Cullman Christkindl market, which is what they call it. It's German origin. I kind of looked it up. The man who founded the town, last name was Cullman, and he was from Germany and was an immigrant back in the day, in the 1800s, and he got the title of colonel not from being in the military, but from something else he did back in the 1800s. That was common. If you did certain things in the community, they would give you a title.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, that was kind of the foundations of the town were German, and that's held true to this day. They have German Christmas market.
It was very, very fun. I did feel a little bit like I was walking through a Hallmark movie set.
Yeah,
I was like,
right.
This is the market. This is where you're going to see all the people from the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Where's the guy in the suit and the guy in the flannel shirt fighting over the same girl? I want to watch.
I don't know. I mean, I was too busy getting that spiced apple cider. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks
it
for
really
sharing.
was.
It was really good.
Yeah. It was really good.
Well, here's a picture of us standing in front of the sign, the Cullman Christkindl Market. And here we are with Rob and Meredith. It was just really fun to hang out. And as I mentioned, we had a couple other friends there too that were not in the picture. But one of the things that's indicative of the German culture at Christmas is these Christmas pyramids. And so you can get these in much smaller form and have them on your table. And you can see from the picture there, that one's huge. Obviously, it's just a really cool kind of center of all the activity. But you can see even that one has candles on it. But if you have one on a table and you light the candles, the heat from the candles rise and turn I don't know what to call it. To call it fan blades sounds,
It's
lame.
almost like a windmill.
It's like a vertical windmill kind of, but the heat from the candles will make it turn.
Was that Southern? Was I just going to say windmill?
Windmill.
Windmill at the
Well,
top.
we did just get back from Alabama, so
I was
maybe.
really trying to say windmill. We had one of these growing up. I always thought they were just fascinating. You kind of stare at them for a little while and get a little hypnotized.
My dad went to Germany on a missions trip years ago and brought one back.
Oh, very cool.
So I was probably college or a little older, but I do remember it.
Did you just one up my windmill? I just
Oh, you had a windmill when you were a kid? I
No.
thought you said you had one of these.
I don't know what this
German.
is called.
It's a German
The
Christmas
German
pyramid.
Christmas pyramid.
Yes.
Yeah, yours
I
was
think they could have come
authentic.
up with a better name, but I kept asking people what it was, and they say, "You mean the Christmas pyramid?" And in my head, I'm like, "That's the best name you have for it." But So we had a great time, and now I'm running smack on it. But so here's a view of up close and looking up at the Christmas pyramid. There are little figurines in there too. They really are cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
They're fun. This kind of gives you a little bit of an idea in the other shot, the long shot. You could see a giant Christmas tree and the Ferris wheel. And here you can see there are lots of everything with the candy cane stripe on top is some kind of booth. A lot of them were food. Some of them were collectibles or whatever. But it was a neat setup.
Yeah, and I don't remember if I read it or if Robin Meredith told me, but if you're a vendor at this event, whenever the event is open, you are required to be there.
Yeah.
So if you come, you're going to get the full experience every time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, oh, they're not here right now, or oh, they only come, from 10 to 5. If it's open, they have to have their booth open. So
Yeah.
I just thought, I think that's a lot of work for the vendors, but it ensures that everybody that comes is always going to get the full market.
Right.
They're very serious about this market.
And I think it takes place over 5 weeks. It's a long commitment.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long commitment,
Yes.
but I think generally they do pretty well. It's kind of expensive to have a booth there, but I think it's really well attended over the course of those 5 weeks. So that's cool.
And I just felt like it was, really enjoyable to be there. Very clean, very well run. It was beautiful. It was really fun to be there.
There were musicians walking around playing instruments, Christmas songs and things. It was pretty cool. This is you with, is that
Saint Nicholas?
Saint Nicholas? Is that what he called himself?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was Santa, Father Christmas, or what, but he said Saint Nicholas.
Saint Nicholas,
Okay,
and he was
the one and only.
He was very kind. Yeah.
Well, he had a nice smile.
Yeah. We talked for a minute.
This is the Ferris wheel. It was kind of at the back of the property, and I don't know why this particular view makes it look like it's going to fall over away from us.
I didn't get on it.
Well, I would have gotten on it, but the line for tickets was very long.
Yeah. And it was a little cold that day that we were there. We were bundled up. I didn't really want to get on anything that made the air just whip past me at that point.
Right.
But if it had been a little milder, I would have stood in line for that ticket.
I thought it looked fun.
Yeah. That's a great perspective.
Yep. There's another view from the front, and I zoomed in a little bit on the medallion in the center there. I just thought it was kind of cool. It says that it was established in 2019, so I think they've been doing the Christmas market for a long time, but the Ferris wheel is not super old.
Okay.
There's another attraction there that was pretty cool, the double carousel.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
I had
looked
never
like
seen
fun.
one. Let's check out the next photo here. You can see the stairway, and the animals are not particularly Christmas related, but they had it decorated for Christmas with pine boughs and red bows and all the things. It was pretty cool. And here's a little bit better. You couldn't really see the animals on top, but it's a little better view of what the families were getting on and riding. We didn't ride that either, but
Yeah, it didn't seem like the day to stand in line and
No.
ride a lot of things. If we'd had some grandkids with us, maybe we would have braved the lines. If you were going to get on this double-decker carousel, what would you go to the top or would you ride on the bottom?
oh, I would definitely go to the
You
top
got to go to the top,
because
right?
I've been on a lot of carousels at the bottom, but
Right.
never been on a double decker.
Yeah. You got to go to the top.
Kids and grandkids are a great excuse to do fun things that you might, we didn't have any young ones with us. And so we were like, oh, that looks cool. We'll keep walking. Oh,
Right.
that looks cool. We'll take a picture.
Yeah.
I mean, if we had kids, I'd have been like, hey, who wants to ride the
I
carousel?
bet you want to go. Oh, they're begging. Let's go.
Because I want to ride it too. Well, they also had an ice skating rink. There's an ice skating rink outdoors in Alabama. That was a first for me, for sure.
Very cool.
Although it was a chilly day. It wasn't. I think temperature wise, it was around 50, but it felt a lot colder than that.
It did, yes. I think, yeah, had it been raining, I feel like it had maybe the day before.
Well, I don't. Yeah, it may have sprinkled a little. It didn't really rain while we were there, but then there was this cool mural that we saw. It says, "In every era, humanity paints its own reflection of generosity." And it was sponsored by Coca-Cola. Someone, I couldn't find the name of who actually painted this, but each individual picture of Santa is referenced as being painted, excuse me, who it's a copy of. In other words, the second to last one there on the bottom, Santa in the red suit, was painted by Norman Rockwell in 1921 originally.
Okay.
And so this is a reproduction of that. And each one of those other Santas was a reproduction of a famous painting from another time,
Okay.
dating all the way back. I think the earliest one on this mural was 1881.
Oh, okay.
And it was sponsored by Coca-Cola. So that was pretty cool. Nice artwork, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
And last shot from the Coleman Christkindl Market. Somebody had a train that they were given
So cute.
rides
So cute.
through the streets. I actually got this picture as we were headed back to our car. We were all done, but they were running through the public streets with the with the
Yep.
miniature train. Everybody seemed to be having a good time. As you can tell, it was overcast and kind of cold, but people were into it.
Yeah, some of the kids were waving from the train. They were so cute. So next time we go, Ferris wheel, carousel, train, and you don't have a picture of this. Did you see the horse-drawn carriage?
Oh, I did.
Okay, that is actually probably number one on my list.
Number one. Okay.
Yes. I
No,
don't even know the price for that one.
I saw it from a distance. I didn't get a chance to get a picture of that, but
Yeah, I would love to do that.
that looked fun too. Well, this is week number 2 of Advent. We had the candle already lit from week number 1. You know, last week I was talking about how when we researched, we found certain words or topics associated with each week.
Yes.
And for a lot of maybe more liturgical churches, I'm not sure, but that was kind of their tradition. And when I was growing up, I didn't remember that specifically, but just that there would be some kind of a reading about Christmas. And I talked to my dad, and he confirmed that that was true.
Okay.
If you're just joining us, my dad is a pastor, and of course, I grew up going to his church our church with
Yeah.
my dad as the pastor every week. And what I didn't remember until he told me was that there was a group that he and my mom really, really liked called ReGeneration, led by a man named Derek Johnson, and a lot of the ReGeneration music was a cappella. So their Christmas stuff, the albums would usually say Christmas in Velvet
Okay.
with, ReGeneration. And so Dad taught the choir some of the ReGeneration music, and they would hum it in the background while he read a reading from, whatever about Christmas. And then at the end, I forget, he told me the line and I forgot it. And that's why we call, I don't know. I should have looked it up. But there was a certain line that they would always sing at the end of the reading. I wish it could have been there. It was actually pretty cool in person. So I'm going to put a link in the description if you would like to. There's a really cool playlist on Spotify for ReGeneration Christmas music.
Okay.
It's a cappella, and it's male and female voices, everything from some really good deep baritone tones all the way up to the high soprano. But this would be a great time to go ahead and light the
right.
candle with
Here we
our
go.
flamethrower
Yes.
for week 2
Beautiful.
of Advent. And we did decide to kind of follow the prescribed topics that we found online,
Yep.
which means week 2 of Advent is peace. And what did you call the other Just Bethlehem, or
Yeah, in preschool when we would do the second candle, we called it the Bethlehem candle.
okay? All right. Well, I'm going to start with peace, and I'm going to repeat something that a verse that you had used last week, which
Okay.
is Isaiah 9:6, and the New International Version of that says, "For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace." So this was a prophecy foretelling the Messiah.
Yes.
And of course, Jesus was the Messiah, and so one of his names is the Prince of Peace. Well, Jesus himself, when he became an adult and started his ministry, we know that one of his most famous sermons was the Sermon on the Mount, which you can find in Matthew 5-7, I believe. It's pretty long, takes up the better part of those 3 chapters. In chapter 5, verses 43 and 44, it says, "You've heard that it was said, 'Love your neighbor and hate your enemy.' But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you." So the word peace is not in there, but Jesus is contrasting what is conventional knowledge, love your neighbor and hate your enemy.
Right.
And he's telling us that he's bringing a new command that we should love our enemies and pray for those who persecute us, which is obviously under the umbrella of peaceful activities,
Right.
even though he didn't use that word.
Mm-hmm. And radical, really.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a lot of
Then and
things.
now.
I mean, everything we're going to talk about in this episode, we could take each little part and talk about for an hour. But I love that because Jesus himself is preaching peace. Also, in his letter to the Christians in Rome, Paul said, and I didn't include that part, but I believe this is chapter 12, starting with verse 17. Excuse me. It says, "Do not repay anyone evil for evil. Be careful to do what is right in the eyes of everyone. If it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. Do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath, for it is written, 'It is mine to avenge, I will repay,' says the Lord. On the contrary, if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty, give him something to drink. In doing this, you will heap burning coals on his head. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good." So the heaping burning coals on his head, I've heard that described different ways through the years, but sometimes they would put fireproof things on their head and take coals from one fire over to start another fire. Either way, heaping burning coals on someone's head, as violent as that sounds, is actually a good thing. So just to clarify that, I think that's the only part of that that's hard to understand. But Paul, as a devout follower of Christ and the author of a huge portion of the New Testament of the Bible, is saying, if it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everything. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. So these are all encouragements to be peaceful. And if we call ourselves Christians or followers of Christ, we need to try to live at peace with other people as much as possible. And that can be hard. Sometimes I struggle with people that are not good to me. How do I respond to that? So that's something that I'm always continuing to work on. But that's a great encouragement this time of year to remember that Jesus encouraged us to be peaceful, and other prominent followers of him have done the same. And that's a good thing to live by.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it does seem like seems like it gets harder all the time, but it's still true.
Seems like the world gets more antagonistic all the time.
Right. And maybe it's always been that way, but we're just exposed to more thoughts of random people.
Yeah.
Right. I've never had so many random thoughts from random people just available so easily available.
Here, I wonder what's going on in the world. Oh,
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
I
want to
don't
know.
need to know
Yeah.
what's going on in the world. I didn't need to know what those 75 people thought.
Yeah.
Even though I thought I did.
Yep. So the Bethlehem candle is taken from Luke 2. It says, in those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world. This was the first census that took place while Quirinius was governor of Syria. Yes, I looked it up on YouTube, how to pronounce it. And everyone went to their own town to register. So Joseph also went up from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea to Bethlehem, the town of David, because he belonged to the house and line of David. He went there to register with Mary, who was pledged to be married to him and was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for the baby to be born, and she gave birth to her firstborn, a son. She wrapped him in cloths and placed him in a manger because there was no guest room available for them. So Mary and Joseph are living in Nazareth. They are betrothed. She is pregnant. And then the government steps in and says, everybody back to your hometown. We need to count you and then tax you.
Yeah.
And so first of all, I do want to just say that as I've learned about this passage through the years, it's not exactly as exciting as all the plays and the movies that were made about this journey. I'm
How so?
almost a little sad because I like the movie. I like that Mary and Joseph are taking this journey and she's on the donkey and she's almost about ready to give birth to her baby, and they're knocking on all the doors. Do you have any room for us? No, go away. Do you have any room for us? Help me, Joseph. We're going to have the baby. And then finally, they find a stable and they go in and have the baby, and it's all exciting. But when you really read through the actual scripture, number one, I don't think there was a donkey. It doesn't say there wasn't a donkey, but there is no mention of a donkey. They probably walked. The scriptures do say that after she had the baby, she needed to give a sacrifice. Leviticus 12:2, I think, or 12:8, talks about if you didn't have enough money to provide a lamb for a sacrifice, you did, I believe, 2 pigeons and 2 doves. And so that was the sacrifice that they made, which tells you that they didn't have enough to do the regular sacrifice. They had to do the sacrifice for like the contingent one in case you were poor.
Yeah.
And so if they didn't have enough money for the sacrifice, chances are they probably didn't have a donkey, is what people say. So again, you're just tearing down my movie picture here.
Well,
But
educated guesses.
I know. And the other thing is that it also says in verse 6 is that while they were there, the time came for the baby to be born. So probably they were staying with family. There wasn't any room in the main guest room. So they put them down in a private place where the animals would have been kept, and they probably were down in that area with the animals. But one thing that really did stick out to me as far as when you and I went to Israel in 2013,
Yep.
I didn't have any trouble reading my Bible before that trip and imagining some of the scenes in the Bible. They made sense to me.
Right.
They were very agricultural. They were shepherds. They were lambs. They were wilderness. And I could kind of picture those things. The one thing that really surprised me when we went to Israel was the Roman influence, the government. When we saw even the ruins in Israel from the Roman government, they were incredibly intimidating. I could just imagine how I mean, they were meant to intimidate. They were meant to show the power and the wealth and the influence of Rome. And
So
that
like what, for instance?
when we were in Caesarea Maritima.
Yeah.
There was the Hippodrome, which is where they would do the chariot races, and they would have had. There was the amphitheater right beside that,
Yep.
the aqueduct that they had built. Just these immense, powerful stone structures that are still standing in some shape today.
Yeah.
And it just for the first time, I started to get a feel for what it might have felt like to have this powerful, oppressive government kind of ordering your life. And for the I think for the first time, a lot of things made sense. And I thought about, what about this trip to Bethlehem? Was there resentment? Did Joseph, was he angry they had to take the trip? This wasn't his idea. He was being ordered by this ruling government to go to his hometown so they could count him, so they could tax him. And,
Yeah.
I think about just what are the two things that are sure in life? Death and taxes.
Right.
Taxes have been around forever. And they play a part in this story. But what I love also about this story and this trip to Bethlehem is that the reason they thought the reason they were going to Bethlehem was because the government had ordered them to go. But in Micah 5:2, we find out that one of the prophecies about the Messiah is that he will be born in Bethlehem. Prophetically,
Wow.
in Micah 5:2, it says, "But you, Bethlehem," say that word,
Ephrathah.
Bethlehem, "though you are small among the clans of Judah, out of you will come for me one who will be ruler over Israel, whose origins are from of old, from ancient times." And I just would like to point out that even if you feel like you're being oppressed by a powerful government, or again, the taxes and the rules and the regulations, even in that, God is more powerful. He is taking even these human institutions and weaving them together and using them for his purposes.
Yeah.
There's nothing that can stop him, and there's nothing he can't use. He'll use whatever he wants to use. The Romans thought it was their idea to do a census, and probably it was. But God was using even what man came up with to say, yeah, I can accomplish my will through that.
Right.
It's nothing for me. And so I do love it, even though I have to give up my romantic journey through the desert on a donkey.
Why does the donkey make it more romantic?
I don't know. I just love donkeys.
Okay.
But anyway, it's still God's story.
Yeah.
Even if there's taxes, he can work through anything.
That's right.
So there's my take.
That's right. Well, it's a good take. And the Peace/Bethlehem candle is lit. And so you can be thinking about those things this week. But we still have tips for gift giving.
Yes.
Last week, we had a friend who gave us some tips who's really good at gift giving, and they wanted to remain anonymous. But this week, we have my sister-in-law, Jessica McClung, and our daughter, now Sage Taylor, now that she's married. They are both really, really great gift givers, and they gave us some tips, too, that I thought were really good. So the first one was we have been giving gifts for a long time at this point.
Yes.
And so
because we're old.
Yeah. So I took their stuff and put it together, and then a couple of little things here are mine. Most of what you're about to hear are ideas from Jessica and Sage. So anyway, ask for a list. There's nothing wrong with having a list that can be very, very helpful. So if it's Christmas, birthday, if there's something coming up where somebody knows they're going to get gifts, just ask them, what do you want? And then you have a list to work on. I think encourage a bigger list than the budget, like probably they kind of know about how much you're going to spend on them,
Right.
Especially if a child gets to be 11, 12, whatever, they kind of know.
They're doing the math.
This is about what we normally get. I say encourage them to make a bigger list than what the budget is, because that way, if you say, well, this is what we're going to spend, what do you want? Oh, well, exactly this will fit within the budget. Then I guess they know what they're getting.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go, well, here's the budget and here's my list, then you don't know what you're going to get, which I think makes it more fun. The mystery is more fun.
Yes. I mean, I like the idea of a list because you do want to get them something they want, but you do also want it to be a little bit of a surprise.
Right.
To have a little fun. So if there is a list, stick to it if you can.
Yep.
It does make everything a little easier. Sometimes you go off book a little bit, but for the most part, this is what they wanted.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you can't find everything or the certain things that you picked out that are on the list, or you maybe this person did make a list that was a lot bigger than the budget and you can't afford what's on the list. So, but you can use the list as inspiration.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, and if they're asking for a lot of fishing gear, for example, you could find something in that category.
Yeah.
Right.
Use that as inspiration, as you said. And if a lot of the things on the list are pink, then you can find something pink.
Probably they're going to like that.
Yeah.
So another twist on this idea is, and I love this, is getting them something they want, something they need, something to wear, something to read, and to ask them, say, give me ideas in those categories. You're going to get something from each category.
Yeah, and it rhymes. Want, need, wear, read. Love it.
Love it.
It's a great idea for kids, especially because kids are growing and they need something to wear. You're encouraging them to read and to have, what do you need? Nobody wants to just get underwear and socks for Christmas. But if you need underwear and socks and a basketball, you got to round all that out.
That's right.
Maybe your list would not be want, need, wear, read, but it might be something else if you wanted to come up with some categories to give people parameters to help them in their list making. That seems like a good idea.
So the last episode, we had a tip to keep a gift-giving journal.
Mm-hmm.
So a twist on this is to use your Amazon cart as a potential gift list.
Yes.
You have to be careful. Your cart might get really, really big. But you can put the items in the cart, but then, quote, save for later.
Yes.
So you don't accidentally, purchase all 738 items.
Right.
Buy it now.
I feel like most people who use Amazon a lot know about the save for later,
Yeah.
but if you don't, it's a really great tip.
It is.
Because it's right there where you need it, but it's not like if you do hit the buy now accidentally when you thought there were 2 things in their cart and there were 20 things in your cart. It's a safety valve.
Yeah. And sometimes you'll get alerts from Amazon that something in your cart has lowered, like the price has lowered.
Yeah.
So you'll get notifications. That was another tip from a friend. So,
especially if you're trying to buy all throughout the year for looking ahead for Christmas or birthday or whatever, and you're not just planning on doing all of it at the last minute, then hey, it's on sale. I'll get it now. So that's good.
And so if there is no list, one of the things that you're going to have to do is pay attention to what this person likes. For example, excuse me.
Yeah. We've both got the cruds in the throat tonight.
If you go to their house and there are no trinkets in their house, stay away from those. They're not just waiting to collect things.
They're easy to find this time of year. They're everywhere. But if maybe that's not their thing.
Yeah. If you've never seen them light a candle, then you are not shopping at Bath & Body Works.
That's right.
You're not going to go to Yankee Candle. You're going to pay more attention to try to find things they actually like.
Right. And then a couple things here under the heading of final advice. This is not a gift for you. So focus on a gift they would like. So don't do that tricky thing I've heard of people doing where they buy something they want and give it to a friend or relative knowing that they're probably going to be like, I'm not really that excited about it. Oh, well, I'll take it.
No, That's horrible.
That's so lame.
That's so horrible.
So be a good person. And
Yeah.
when you're shopping for other people, make sure you're focusing on a gift that they would like. I mean, that probably should have been advice number one from last week. But just, in case you hadn't picked up on that yet, that's a good one.
And budgets are good. And for the most part, we try to stick to our budget, but it's not really about the money. It's about knowing your people, loving them well. If we're together and we know this gift's going to put us a little over, we kind of do a quick little meeting and we're like, yep.
Depends on what it is. We try not
Yeah.
to go over on every gift for every person, but sometimes you just know like this gift is
It's
going to
perfect.
crush.
Yep.
And it's probably worth a couple extra bucks just to know how much they're going to like it.
Yep.
Trust your gut. If this is someone and you're trying to really pay attention to all these tips and you've got a list and all the things, but then you come across something and you go, well, it's not on the list, but I think it's a good idea. If you really feel like it's a good idea for them, trust your gut. Especially the more you know someone, the easier it is to do that.
Right. Yep. And when you're picking out a gift with love, you'll do just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is the thought that counts. And trust
Well, it
me.
really is. I mean, when you're a kid, it's not. When you're a kid and you're on the receiving end, it's about getting me stuff I want.
But then you get older and you're like, oh, bless their hearts. They just weren't a good gift giver.
But
And then it is all about the thought.
it is.
Because you realize they were trying.
Well, we said we had a couple specific gifts that we wanted to recommend for you at the end. And I told you about last week about the Positive Perspective Christmas edition that my dad wrote last year and put a link to it. If you didn't catch that, you can go back to episode 45 and look in the description of that episode and you can get a link where you can get that on Amazon. I don't have a copy of it, but I think we're going to show you a picture, and I do have a link where you can get his new devotional, which is just coming out now and is available on Amazon. And instead of being a Christmas devotional, this is a daily devotional, but for a complete year. I think there's 366 readings in it.
Not forgetting the good old leap day.
That's right. That's right.
Nice.
So,
Is that what it's called? Leap day? It's called leap year.
Leap Year Day,
Leap year day.
February 29th is
Yeah.
what it's called.
That's what it's called. I'm making stuff up.
Well, Dad has also written some novels. His first one was Where Your Treasure Is, and that is the beginning of the Miller Chronicles. This is book 2, As We Forgive Those. And
Read it. Loved it.
this is book 3, The Hands of a Woman.
Reading it now.
Miller Chronicles, book 3. These are historical fiction set in the 1700s. And I read the first one. I'm not a big reader. I always think when I say that, people are going to go, oh, he's just a dummy. Everybody that's worth anything is a big reader.
That's right.
I'm not going to spend any time on that. I'm a little ADHD, and when I read, I make up my own things, and I get to the end of the chapter, and I'm like, I don't know what I read, and I don't know if the story that's in my head is the one they wrote or the one I made up. I can't tell.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But it was good.
But I read Dad's first novel, Where Your Treasure Is, and I was able to stay focused, and it was really good. I enjoyed it. So those are available on Amazon. We're going to put links to all of those. So if you're a reader or you know someone who is, we recommend those. They're great for you or for a friend, relative, for a gift. But 'tis the season. So week 2 of Advent. Peace, Bethlehem, tips for gift giving. Thanks again to Sage and Jessica for helping us out. And we hope you enjoyed it. We really have fun doing these. We're glad you joined us. And we look forward to seeing you next week for week 3 of Advent. Until then, we're David and Hillary, and thanks for joining us.
All right. See ya.